Alrighty, everyone, welcome back. One major development is now unfolding around Supergirl, and it's something that Warner Brothers probably hoped fans wouldn't pay much attention to, because just 1 month after arriving in theaters, the studio has already made a decision that's raising serious questions about whether they've officially given up on this movie's box office run. What's even more surprising is that this comes as Supergirl continues to struggle worldwide, with reports suggesting the film may not even reach $130 million globally. And if that happens, it could become one of the biggest financial disappointments in recent DC history. But that's not even the biggest story. The real reason Warner Brothers is moving this movie to digital so quickly has sparked a whole new debate about James Gunn's leadership, the future of the DC universe, and what could happen to the franchise next. So let's break it all down. It's now been roughly a month since Supergirl arrived in theaters, and instead of becoming the next major success for DC Studios, the movie has found itself at the center of a growing box office disaster. Early reports suggested the film could lose around $100 million, but many commentators now believe the financial damage could be significantly higher once every major expense is taken into account. Between the production budget, worldwide marketing, distribution costs, and other related expenses, the situation appears far more serious than many originally expected. For Warner Brothers and James Gunn, this isn't simply another disappointing release. It's a major test for the future of the new DC universe, and that's because DC has already spent years rebuilding its brand. After Zack Snyder's original vision was abandoned, the franchise went through multiple creative changes, different leadership teams, inconsistent storytelling, and several standalone projects that struggled to connect with audiences. Eventually, Warner Brothers decided to hit the reset button, bringing in James Gunn to build an entirely new cinematic universe from the ground up. The expectation was that this fresh start would restore fan confidence. Instead, many critics now argue that the new DCU is facing serious problems much earlier than anyone anticipated. Even before Supergirl, the conversation surrounding James Gunn's DC strategy had already become divided. While Superman generated headlines during its theatrical run, many analysts pointed out that its worldwide performance still fell short of the expectations many believed Warner Brothers had for such an important reboot. The film earned hundreds of millions globally, but many expected a much stronger result for what was supposed to be the foundation of the new franchise. Then came Peacemaker Season 2, which also struggled to generate the level of excitement many fans expected. But according to critics, Supergirl has become the biggest concern so far. But here's where the story takes an even bigger turn. And before the movie premiered, many people predicted that Supergirl would underperform. Some believed it would struggle financially. Others expected mixed audience reactions. Very few, however, predicted numbers this low. Current projections suggest the film may struggle to even reach $130 million worldwide, with some estimates placing its final theatrical total closer to the $125 million range. If those projections hold true, it would rank among the weakest performing modern superhero releases in recent years. And that's exactly why Warner Brothers' latest decision has attracted so much attention. Reports indicate that Supergirl is scheduled to arrive on Premium Video On Demand, PVOD, around July 28th, only about 4 weeks after opening in theaters. For a film carrying a reported production budget between $170 million and $186 million, that's an unusually quick transition to digital platforms. Although shortened theatrical windows have become more common in the streaming era, studios typically reserve these accelerated releases for movies that fail to maintain audience momentum at the box office. That's why many industry observers see this decision as more than just routine scheduling. To them, it signals that Warner Brothers may no longer expect the film to generate meaningful theatrical revenue over the coming weeks. And that's the question everyone is asking now. Has Warner Brothers effectively accepted that Supergirl's theatrical run is over? Because if the movie truly finishes below $130 million worldwide, the financial outcome would be dramatically worse than many analysts originally predicted. Even some critics who expected the movie to struggle believed it could still earn somewhere between $250 million and $300 million globally. Those numbers would still have represented a financial disappointment, but falling far below even those expectations paints a very different picture. Some commentators have even started comparing Supergirl's performance to several other recent comic book movies that struggled to attract audiences, arguing that the film has fallen well below the expectations surrounding James Gunn's second theatrical project in the new DC universe. And that's exactly why this story has become so significant. Supergirl was never meant to be just another standalone superhero movie. It was designed to build confidence in James Gunn's long-term vision, strengthen the foundation of the rebooted DC universe, and generate excitement for everything that's supposed to come next, including Man of Tomorrow and several other upcoming DC projects. Instead, many critics believe the exact opposite has happened. Rather than creating momentum, Supergirl has sparked new concerns about the future of the franchise, with many fans now questioning whether Warner Brothers and DC Studios are truly moving in the right direction. After years of reboots, leadership changes, and inconsistent results, this latest setback is only adding more uncertainty to an already divided fan base. But here's where the story becomes even more interesting. The theatrical run may be coming to an end, but the movie's journey certainly isn't over. The next major test now shifts away from the box office and toward the digital marketplace. Over the next several weeks, Warner Brothers will finally get a clearer picture of whether audiences are actually willing to rent or purchase Supergirl from home. After that, all eyes will turn toward its eventual streaming debut, where the studio will be hoping the film can reach a much larger audience than it did in theaters. If the digital release performs better than expected, Warner Brothers could recover at least some of the financial losses and point to stronger home viewing numbers as a positive sign. However, if digital sales and streaming engagement also fall short, the pressure surrounding James Gunn and the future of DC Studios is almost certain to intensify. At that point, even more difficult questions will begin surrounding the long-term direction of the new DC universe and whether future projects can restore audience confidence. One thing is certain, the next few weeks could become some of the most important yet for James Gunn, Warner Brothers, and the future of the DC franchise. So now I want to hear from all of you. Do you think Warner Brothers is moving Supergirl to digital because they've accepted that its theatrical run is essentially over? Or do you believe the movie still has a chance to find success through digital sales and eventually streaming? Share your thoughts down in the comments below, because I'd really like to know where all of you stand on this situation. And as always, if you enjoyed today's video and want to stay up to date on the latest Hollywood news, DC updates, box office stories, and entertainment controversies, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the Woke Watch, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, I'll catch all of you in the next video.